is going. Saf, you want to introduce your partner?
What's up? SANDCAST. Welcome back. We have Megan J. Rice, as they have her on the AVP. Welcome, Megan. As I call her Ducky.
Ducky.
Oh boy.
Call her Ducky.
What's the history of Ducky?
Troy called her Ducky, and I thought it was funny.
Okay,
I just
so
liked
you
it.
took like the couple pet nicknames.
So now Savvy's taking it
just-
over.
I call
so
her
any-
and Troy
anytime
Ducky.
I see her.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's Ducky.
I just think it's cute. I don't know why. But anyways, welcome.
Thank you.
How we
Thank you
doing?
guys for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. Glad we can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we were trying to get it a couple weeks ago, but one thing that I've learned, in like 2 weeks we'll have been doing this for 6 years,
Wow.
is that everything just happens on its own time.
Yeah.
Like we'll be trying to get someone on for literally like a year or two, and it'll happen and be like, oh, this is actually the perfect time to do it. So glad we can make it work. And especially, I'm really glad that we can make it work now after you get another great finish in Laguna. Congratulations on a second place.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome. What a year you've had.
It's been a crazy summer, to say the least. Yeah.
I'm just so curious, like, what were your expectations coming into this year? Because you never played an AVP before.
No. Yeah. So, I don't know. When I graduated from college, I was pretty burnt out because I was doing indoor and beach at the time.
Yeah.
So, my off season was like the 2 weeks that were in between seasons. And so, even though everyone was like, you should play, I was like, no, I'm going to do this on my own time. If I feel like after taking a summer off, like I want to play again, I know it'll be the right timing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did, because then in late fall, when I was like getting the itch to play again, I was like, okay, like I'm out of shape. It's going to be hard, but it means I really want to play and really want to do it. So obviously I'm really happy I did. It's been a ton of fun. I had no expectations other than like having fun and just seeing how much better I could get.
Yeah.
Because I was still pretty new to the sport when I graduated. So
Yeah. When
Yeah.
did you graduate?
I graduated.
Were you 2021 as well?
No,
When'd
it
you
was
graduate high
after
school?
you. So
I feel like when you go to high school, it doesn't even
2016.
matter because the COVID time
What?
was
We're
just
the
like,
same,
I was
we're the
6
same
years.
we're the same high school year, but yeah, you did 6 years, so yeah, 2022, I guess.
So not
Okay.
last spring, but the spring before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
2022.
Yeah.
And so you just
22.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was 21.
Yeah.
okay, so you graduated spring of 22?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But you started at Santa Barbara, right?
I did for one year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you ended up going to finishing out at LMU?
Yeah.
Is that because LMU had a beach program?
No.
No? Okay.
Beach was never part of the plan.
Really?
Wow.
Never part of the plan. I in high school got invited to play in like a couple tournaments. Like I think I played in like one or two.
Okay.
Just had zero interest.
Really?
That's so
I
funny.
think because I was just new to volleyball in general. I had
Yeah.
played basketball my whole life up until 8th grade when my
Okay.
older brother started playing volleyball. And then I was like, oh, this is way better. Instantly switched. My dad's like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, like we poured all this money into basketball. And I'm like, no, like trust me, this is the sport for me.
Yeah.
And I think because I was just learning the indoor game, I
Yeah.
just overlooked beach completely. So went
Gotcha.
to college for indoor. That was my only plan. And then when I transferred to LMU for indoor,
Yeah.
that's when John Mayer approached me like, hey, like, I'd love for you to try to play beach also.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, sure.
That's amazing.
It's so funny too, growing up around here, that you didn't get into beach at
Yeah,
a
it's
younger
super
age.
ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
That's
was
so funny.
born and raised in
Yeah.
Hermosa,
Yeah.
and it just,
And it just never caught your interest?
no, not really.
That's so funny because like I didn't move here till I was 26,
Yeah.
and I just thought that's what everyone did growing up here.
Yeah.
It's like that's just what you do in Hermosa Beach. You play beach volleyball.
Yeah, no, I think too, like, I've told you this, but I didn't come from like a sports-centric family. Like, I am pretty much the stray athlete in my family. Like, the whole
Okay.
rest of my family is like musical theater and like arts, and
Wow.
I just happened to be athletic, and
And then
that's
came Megan, friggin' beast. Like, are you kidding?
I was gonna say like
So
you're
crazy.
an exceptional athlete.
Yeah.
I come from tall stock. Like, my dad is 6'4" and my mom is 5'9", and I'd like to think that they were both athletic back
Yeah.
in the day, but just never played sports.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like, my mom put me in everything. Like, I did dance, all the sports you can think of, and basketball and volleyball were the two that like stuck, and I was just all in as soon as I tried
That's
them.
super cool. That's awesome that your parents like let you try everything or encourage you to try everything, because I think that's how you make a well-rounded athlete, and that's how you like in beach. It's just a combination of every sport. Like you have to be pretty good at every athletic move to be good at beach.
Yeah, I think too the basketball to volleyball transition, I'd say is probably one of the easier ones because it's all like hand-eye coordination.
And you get like, it's a lot of playing defense is a lot of the lateral movement.
Right.
And then obviously jump in, layups, rebounds, blocks. It's all explosive vertical movement.
Right.
It's like the perfect, I feel like that's the great transition sport is basketball.
Yeah. And it's also like the big appeal for me at the time was that you don't touch your opponents. Because I was like, when I was an 8th grader, I was like 5'4" and like barely 100 pounds and just getting decked by the girls that like grew early. And so when I tried volleyball, I figured out I could jump, and I eventually grew, and it all just came together.
Yeah. When did you grow? Because 5'4", I mean, that you were teeny.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I want to say I was like 5'4" or 5'6", like right around there. And then my sophomore year of high school is when I started to grow. Like between my sophomore and senior year of high school, I went from like 5'4", 5'6" to like 5'10", and then I grew my last inch in college.
Okay.
So now I'm like 5'11" and a
that's
little bit.
That's late to grow for a girl. Getting that
Yeah.
extra inch in college.
Yeah.
Did it? Did that growth spurt hurt in high school?
No.
Really?
No.
Because that's a lot of inches in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have growing pains.
Okay.
I guess I was just lucky.
Because the same thing happened to me. I was like really teeny tiny and really skinny, and I grew like sophomore, junior, and I had the worst. What's the one on your heel called? Plantar
fasciitis.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had the worst heel pain ever, which is weird. Nowhere else, but that was like I have kind of big feet, so maybe that's why. That's so interesting. You didn't have any of that. Yeah, you do have small feet. You do have small feet. Yeah, that's wild though. And then another inch in college. That's so bizarre.
Yeah, because I graduated high school at 5'10", and by winter break of my freshman year, I was 6'4".
Holy.
And that was awful.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I had to take Advil to walk to class all 4 years of college because it hurt so bad. Meanwhile, I looked like I was 12 too.
Oh, back in the day.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, the days.
Yeah, I didn't shave till I was 22.
Yeah. Wow. You know, sometimes things just happen late.
They just happen late. Yeah. I come back to high school. My basketball coach is like, "Now you grow." It's like we could have used a 6'4" guard when you were in high school. I was like, "Trust me, man. I wanted to grow earlier too."
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's
What was it like going on the beach at LMU though? Because you'd played very sparingly, and then here you are at a D1 college on the rise. Because by that time, John had the LMU program had started to pick up a little bit.
Yeah. So actually, right when I got there, I played my first indoor season, and in our very last game, I've told you this story too. I blew out my knee completely, just everything, ACL, MCL, meniscus, all degree 3 tears. Like I was not even sure if I was playing volleyball again, period.
Oh shit.
And then so I was like, oh, sorry, John. Not right now, I guess. So I was out for that spring. I redshirted the following indoor season. My knee wasn't ready yet by that spring, so I didn't play that season either. Or like maybe I made it like a week or 2 in, but then I got sent to like a USA Volleyball indoor tryout where it was like double days for multiple days, and my knee just did not handle it well. Yeah, wasn't ready. Didn't play that season either. The season after that, we got a couple weeks in, was feeling good, COVID.
Oh,
so
man,
I truly feel like I started playing beach my second to last year. So your senior year,
2021.
Yeah, 2021 was like the first time that I was able to play beach for literally more than like a month before.
Wow.
Like I had to stop training for either health or global pandemic reasons.
That's when you played with Ia?
That's when I played with Ia.
Yeah, so I remember playing, me and Lexi played against you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my 5th year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. My gosh.
And so like where I feel like every year I like tried to start, something would happen. Tried to start, something would happen. And so finally in 2021, the stars aligned and I was able to like actually like start to figure out the game a little bit. Yeah.
Man, so that's a snake bitten career right there. That's tough.
Yeah. And then also like 6th year went better than expected, and that's when I was like, oh, okay, like maybe I can compete past college or like at the next level.
But you still wanted that break though.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot, like 6 years, especially because injury rehabs are no joke.
No.
Like that, I mean, that takes a lot out of your soul.
Yeah. And like I was fortunate enough that I had like the right resources at LMU. I really took my time with my rehab. I think that's like really hard when you have a really massive injury. It's like you just want to play again, but like sometimes you just can't.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I feel like all of a sudden it was just kind of clicking, but I was like, if my body's fine, but my mind is not, it's still not a good time for me to play.
Right.
So like, despite being like the best, like I had been previously at beach ever, I just didn't feel like my heart was in it because of the burnout I had experienced just from like the last like 2 years. It was like, if I wasn't in indoor, I was in beach, and I was also doing grad school during that time and just like devoting all my free time to school. Yeah. So if it was just the sports, I think I would have been fine, but it was like the grad school was just like the straw that broke the camel's back.
That was just the kicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you study?
I did business analytics.
Okay.
So it's like a business degree and a data science degree hybrid.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I would be able to take one class and I'd be like, not
sounds-
teach. I need some help. Office
smart.
hour.
Sounds like not a sociology major.
But I tortured myself with school.
Yeah.
It was worth it, even though I'm not using that degree right now, but maybe one day.
Yeah. Everything its own time.
Right. Yeah.
So were you tempted at all in the summer of 2022 to play?
Yeah.
Okay. But you just like held yourself back?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Because I was getting like asked to play a bit, and obviously I was getting encouraged by like John and some of my coaches, but I think they understood why I was like, no, like I just need a little break for the first time in 6 years.
In your life. In your life, probably.
Yeah, that's honestly what it felt like. It felt like just a big like breath, especially when you like, I had like 3 senior years where I'm like, okay, this year I'm graduating. Oh, never mind. Okay, this year I'm graduating. Oh, never mind. Okay, last try here.
Yeah.
Oh, global pandemic. Cool. I guess I'm going to use my last eligibility here.
I don't know if you can relate to this because I feel like I felt the burnout like a bit the end of this season just because me and Tony started playing in like, when was Doha? Beginning of February? End of January?
But the Elite was beginning of February.
Yeah, so we went to that. We just started our season so early, and so I was... Yeah. And I just was like, I've never had an off season, but like, I don't know if you feel the same way. COVID, for some reason, didn't feel like a off season. Like, we weren't in season, but to me, it was like... I wasn't training super hard.
Everyone's stress levels were real high.
I don't know, it was weird, and I wasn't like training. I wasn't doing... I was... When the beaches opened back up, I was playing for fun, but... For some reason in my head, that doesn't feel like it was a break. Maybe because it was a forced break. So it just, because I relate to you with the whole burnout thing. Even though COVID was like the biggest off season we've ever had in our life, it didn't really feel that way. So I don't know. Yeah. It's very interesting. So
I don't know. I feel like I got through my first 4 years like pretty good, but it was once I got into grad school that I was like, too much time out.
Yeah.
Like, do you think the school, like the stress of school, obviously added to all that too?
100%. Yeah.
How much harder is grad school than undergrad?
Depends on what you study.
Yeah.
But in my case, it was a lot harder, just because a lot of the classes I was taking were like coding and stuff that you need to dedicate like a lot of hours into outside of just like getting assignments done if you actually want to like succeed. Yeah. And I'm like so like type A that I like can't not stop working at something until I get it.
Yeah. So. I mean, that's probably a coach's dream.
Yeah, it translates to volleyball pretty well for the most part. Sometimes it hurts to be a little bit of a perfectionist because this is a non-perfect sport. But
It's like such a double-edged sword where we just had Kelly Chang on.
Yeah.
And she's one of the most like the biggest perfectionists I know.
Yeah.
And that's on the one side of the sword, it's what makes you great. Like that just itch where you just cannot, you have to fix that rep that went wrong.
You're like, I know I can do that better.
Right. But on the other hand, like that will drive you insane.
Right.
And you just, it'll kill you.
Yeah. It's like you don't, I feel like the side that I try to be on is like not be too hard on myself.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think it's productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so different for every people because for some people that's super productive and some people that like that inner voice like you're not good enough like that will wear them down, whereas for like a Kobe or a Michael Jordan like they'll take any slight, either perceived or real or like internal external, and that's like their fuel.
Right.
And
Yeah.
to some people it just works.
I think that one thing that shaped me a little bit like mentally was my injury actually, because my injury because I had to separate myself from volleyball for the first time in my life, or myself from sport in general, where like I feel like a lot of people who graduate or when they do finally step away from their sport have a little bit of an identity crisis where they're like, oh my gosh, like who am I without my sport? And for me, I already mourned, like it was like that part of me already died because I didn't know if I was going to be able to play again back when I hurt myself my sophomore year.
Right.
So, but I think it was really, really good for me as a player because I don't like tie my failures to myself as a person. It's just like, well, that's just a fail for volleyball.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's super valuable.
Yeah.
And like you would obviously never want to go back and wish a complete knee destruction upon yourself. But that's super cool that you were able to get something incredibly valuable out of that. Because most people don't get that till they're 37, 38, in John Hyden's case, 50.
Right. I don't think I'm making it that long. I'll be getting a knee replacement at that age.
Because that's a hard thing. And I think one of the common themes like on this podcast that people talk about is like they need to find something bigger than volleyball or something, and you already found it, which is super valuable.
Yeah. Or at least I don't think whenever I decide to retire for real, like I don't think it'll be as I don't think the mourning period will be as long. I think it'll just be like, okay, like it's time to like hang it up.
Yeah. We can move on.
Use your degree.
Right.
You worked really hard.
That I worked really hard for.
Yeah. Now, hopefully that's not for a long time because this is just your rookie year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I had so much fun this year. I don't know when that will be, but I'm planning on playing for a while longer.
Yeah. It looked like you had some fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have like a plan or sort of a schedule mapped out of what you wanted this year to look like coming in?
No, not really. I feel like honestly I joined the tour at a really weird time because when I joined, like so many people were partnered up that I was like, oh, I'd love to play with this person. They partnered up. Yeah. Oh, I'd love to, like I was like at the time I remember I grabbed coffee with Emily Day like, hey, I'm like pregnant. So like I don't know, I just felt like I was kind of bouncing around the first like beginning of the year. Played with Kaylee York for a little bit, who's a really good player and even better person. And then
did you do Virginia with Kaylee?
No, I actually did that with Allie
Wheeler.
And then Allie hurt her shoulder.
That's right.
So then I picked up Lexi Denneberg last minute for Denver.
Craziest qualifier ever.
I know.
I'm
so that one still gets me actually.
When I looked at the brackets and saw some of them, I was like, "Can't we balance this?"
It was that game was
you guys
so
had to play
dumb.
what, Devin and Delaney?
Yeah.
In a qualifier.
Yeah.
And it was just like a nasty 3-setter. And, you know, like it's just one of those things where it's just like, dang it, like if we just got into the main draw, I think we would have done damage.
Yeah.
Like we felt really good. Even though we had like, I don't know, like 1 or 2 practices. But that was kind of my theme this year anyway.
Well, the evidence shows that like if you would have gotten in the main draw, there would have been damage because the very next tournament, you're both in the main draw and you're both in the semifinals.
Right, that's true. But yeah, and then after Denver, I feel like literally I was just getting like lucky with opportunities, like Savvy. So I actually made the choice not to go to Wapaka. I was just like, I don't know. Like, there's just not someone that I feel like I can go, like, win that tournament with. It was a lot of money, like, the travel and stuff. I'm like, you know what? It was also my birthday, the, like, weekend or the week after Denver. So I'm like, I'm just going to be home for my birthday, enjoy my birthday, watch AVP Hermosa.
Yeah.
It'll be great. And then, was it Wednesday? I don't even remember what day of the week it was.
We got back from Denver, what month?
Do you need another one, Seth?
No. Don't tempt me with a good time. We got back from Denver Sunday night. Monday, took the day off because Tony and I went the distance in Denver. And then Tuesday, I think Tony took off Monday, Tuesday because her knee was really bugging her. Wednesday, we go to practice, and she called it early. And I was like, I happened to just call Josh Glazebrook. I'm like, hey, if I needed to make an injury step, when would I need to do that? This is like Wednesday at like 11 o'clock. He's like an hour ago. Like right now. I'm like, okay, can you give me like an hour, please? Because I don't know, like I was calling you on like a hypothetical, but now knowing how quickly I need to make a decision. Like, so I called Tony and it was Denver to Hermosa, Espino, Edmonton, potentially Montreal if we got in. We were one off.
Right.
And then Atlanta. And so every single event was more important than Hermosa. Denver was more important than Hermosa because we got the bid to Atlanta. Right. They were all more important to us and our goals than Hermosa. Hermosa was more just for fun. It's our hometown event. And she had to make the really tough decision to not play. It was not easy because it's Hermosa. It's great, but we had a lot of stuff coming up. And I'm sitting there. I'm sitting on my outdoor couch, and I'm like, who's even in town? Who's even here? Well, because Wapaka's going on. I'm like, what's going on? Evan's like, call Megan. I'm like, okay. I call Megan. I'm like, hey, you want to play? She's like, are you serious? Like, yeah. And it kind of just, I mean, you can tell the rest of the story, but
happy birthday.
Yeah.
It was Wednesday.
Yeah, I want to play.
It was Wednesday, and Josh, thank God he gave us probably 2 hours because it took Tony a really long time to decide because that was a really tough decision for her to make. And it all, because they were going to submit the brackets and whatever. Yeah. So it all had to practice with Brooke. And
yeah, we had
the rest is history.
Serve and pass on Thursday, and that was it.
And a decent run Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It was just one of those things where you're like, no expectations, but like the vibes were high. I mean, we've been competing against each other since forever. Forever. Yeah. And so
hold on, pause. Megan wrecked me in high school, indoor. My team was like legit, and Megan comes in. We're in state, whatever round of state.
I don't remember.
And we're like, we've won our league, we've won CIF, we're gonna win state. And Redondo comes into Torrey Pines where I played, and we have a solid lineup. And Megan single-handedly beat us. Like her and was it the setter or the libero? I can't remember. Megan was just setter. She wrecked us. It was the most devastating loss. Like I remember it to this day in my gym. I think it was my junior year. May have been my senior year. It had to be
senior year.
Yeah, so Megan ended my high school career because she was so good at it. Never forget. So we've been competing against each other for a long time.
Shout out Redondo. Shout out Tommy Chaffins.
You were an outside?
Yeah. So my junior year, we had like the stack team. Like Redondo had the stack team. We won state, and then my senior year was like we graduated everyone. Yeah. Except for like me and my setter at the time, Noreen Iosia, who went to Hawaii.
Okay.
And we had a couple other girls that were going like to some D2s. Maybe there was another, D1 for beach, and then like a freshman that was like really good, but like young. And literally no reason, then we still won state. Like it just, it was just
back-to-back state.
It was just one of those things that it was just like the chemistry was there, but the talent wasn't. But it didn't matter. Yeah, and we just won the games we needed.
2 + 2 is 5 with that team.
Yeah, literally.
That's awesome.
But then Savvy returned the favor in college. Like, spanking me every single chance she got. My that year I played with Ia. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean your UCLA team was stacked.
Yeah, we were dumb. We were just, it was dumb. We had so many good people. But
what's crazy is that your team was stacked, but the USC team was wild.
Like, even my 5th year, we were so good, and USC was just Tina and Maycraft in the ones. You're like, what? It's just
Yeah. Well, I was looking because I was down at World Champs, and there were 10 USC people in the World Championships. 7 of them were women.
Yeah.
Because it was Julia, Haley, Megcraft, Therese, Sarah Hughes, Kelly Chang, Tina. And then the guys were Andy, Tri, and then we counted Gustavo.
He counts.
Because you have to.
Yeah.
He's a big piece of everything. Love Goose.
Yeah. I see him in the mornings walking his dog every morning.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Bright and early. You guys are the early risers.
We're early risers.
I'm
Now with
shocked I
Austin-
haven't seen you yet with Sky here.
Well, it's been funny now with the kid because I'll wake up. He'll wake up like 6, which is usually when I would wake up. But then now Delaney's just been like bringing him in bed and he'll fall back asleep.
Yeah.
But I'll need to like wait for him to get up a second time. So then I take him for a walk. So then Delaney falls back asleep for another 2 hours.
Yeah. Good.
So now I'm up around around 7.
You guys got it figured out.
For today. We got to
Right
figure it
now.
out for today. Yeah. Isn't it funny though when you look at it, just like how different your season could have been if the universe didn't just like happen the way it did, where like
Yeah.
Tony pulls out with 15 minutes to spare, you and
Yeah.
Savvy get picked up and then just go on a crazy run.
Yeah. And then after that, it just felt like the floodgates like opened
Yeah.
like with opportunities.
Well, I feel like, I mean, you mentioned you felt lucky this year, but
Yeah.
you can only get lucky so many times. Like you took advantage of a great opportunity.
Yeah,
and
you
then-
gotta deliver on it for sure.
And you delivered.
She deserves to be there. I told so many, I'm like, she deserves to be out here. She's had a couple, like getting Devin Newberry and Delaney Maple in a qualifier of a qualifier, like just some unfortunate circumstances. Like she deserves to be playing in the main draw. Like that's the level she's at. So it's just crazy that you probably won't have to play in some qualifiers for, like, you might just be in the main draw, which is just wild. Not even have had to be in the main draw or in the qualifier, but you do deserve to be there. Like, did you get in a very unconventional way? Yes, but you had the opportunities and you made the most of it, and that's the best you could have done. It was fun to watch. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I've still never actually qualified for an AVP.
So
You and Tri Bourne. Tri's never had to do it.
oh my gosh.
You know, that's always the part that gets me. I'm like, I've actually never done it.
Yeah. But I feel like, I mean,
You
there.
don't want to have to be in it. Like, it's a great feeling when you do it.
yeah.
But God, those qualifiers are horrible.
Yeah.
They're
You can
gnarly.
avoid them. Stay
Well,
away.
and like
Ugh.
the other thing I like tell people, and they ask me like, oh, like when they ask me about the whole experience, I'm like, I really didn't feel like I played any differently in Hermosa than I had been with
Right.
any of my other partners. Like, it's not like all of a sudden I like got in the main draw and was just like 10 times better.
Right.
It was just kind of like the qualifiers are gnarly.
Oh, yeah.
And you can be
Especially on the
playing
women's
good
side.
volleyball and lose because there's good teams in there, and all you need to do is run into one good team, and that's it. You only get one chance.
Yep. Because, I mean, in that Denver qualifier, like, the Norses played Charlie Ekstrom in the first round. It's like, jeez,
Yeah.
Louise, she
Yeah.
got
Just-
3-court. I forget who Charlie was playing with, but I was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, Brooke and I played Charlie in first round of Laguna, and yeah, she's playing good ball right now. That was
Yeah.
a hard win for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's good teams down there. You don't want to be in there.
No,
Yeah.
they're terrifying.
They are.
What was that run to Hermosa like? I mean, because it was complete house money for you and Sav. I feel like
Yeah.
at that point you were just sort of happy to be playing. But at some point, did any pressure add up as you went on? Like, oh man, like we're in the quarterfinals of one of the most historic AVP spots ever.
No, I don't know. I feel like once we were like on to like Sunday, I don't know. I didn't feel pressure. I feel like at that point I was just having so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also
That's
just
awesome.
love playing in the stadium because to me that feels like home. Because from indoor, like it feels way
Yeah.
more like indoor. Like the times that I'm like, oh boy, is like when we're on like the outer courts. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, you really got to bring your own energy. But once I'm in the stadium, I'm like, I feel just like
feed off
woo, like the whole
The
time.
crowd also loved us. Like they
Yeah.
were just, cause we were the underdogs, and like you win your first 2 games, you're like, we're into Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's such a weird feeling. Like we won the first one. I'm like, that's a big win, beating the Maestrinis. I'm like, that's a big win. Let's we'll see. We have Macy Jurger, the other Megan Rice, they're playing really good right now. Just the whole season, they have really great chemistry. They're playing really well, and that was a hard fought, 3-set battle.
Yeah.
And then we go to the next day. We have one match, but it never was like, I don't know. It didn't feel like pressure. It never, even when we were in the finals and we lost, it still was like, this is so awesome. Yeah. Like the crowd, I think the crowd got us, like that win against Brook Bauer and Katie Horton. We were down in both sets and somehow rallied some points like at the end. And then like I go play in Manhattan against Zana and Stadium, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go play for the crowd. The crowd loves me. Nope, they loved me and Megan because we were the underdogs. I play Zana, and they're like screaming for Zana. I'm like, God, it's crazy how different the momentum is for like different. But the experience, like that was probably the best experience. I was going like this to the crowd. When have I ever done that? Never. And they loved it. Everyone was cheering. It was just the funnest weekend. I'll never forget it. It was so much fun.
It was also the most adorable thing that Evan and Troy watching you guys in the finals.
Yeah.
I just watched them watch you, and it was they were just like, oh my god, they were so.
Yeah. Well, they get a taste. So like, obviously, I've watched Troy for like years now, like on the AVP, and like I always tell him, I'm like, I get so much more nervous for your games than I do for mine.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I come home from watching a tournament of his, and I'm like, literally, like, can't keep my head up. I like come home from playing a tournament all day. I'm like, fine.
Okay.
Like, I'm like beat up, but I'm like, fine. But like the mental exhaustion of watching your partner play is like so much.
Yeah. How did you and Troy meet?
Good old Instagram.
Love it.
I mean, around the time that I was starting to play beach, I literally, this is the most boring dating story ever, but I literally followed like, a bunch of like the good players like Alex Kleiman, and April, and whoever else it was. And I was playing, I had asked some of my brother's friends if I could play with them, because then like a week or two later, LMU season was starting, and I was super nervous because that was going to be my first time like actually playing beach. And they were talking about like this video of like, oh my gosh, this guy can like touch the bottom of the Huntington Pier. Like, this is so cool. Yeah. And we're looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, that is cool. Followed him too. And I got a DM from him a couple weeks later on some like story I had posted, and that was it. What's
Good
funny
job,
is
Troy.
we had all
Good
of
job,
the
Troy.
same friends.
Yeah.
Right.
We just hadn't met.
Yeah.
So like, Troy's like best friends with like Eric Berenik, and we went to high school together. And
I wouldn't have put two and two together. You would have gone to high school with Berenik.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yep.
Because Eric's what, 26
6
or 7?
20. No, he has to be
26?
27. 27. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
a time warp too, because he's like one injury, then another injury, and then Achilles gone, and it's like, geez, B. Sorry, man.
I know. I love Eric.
He's
so
great.
Sweet.
Yeah, bundle of
Awesome.
energy too.
Yeah.
And him and Troy together, it's like, I can't keep you guys straight.
Dude,
No.
Wild,
so
man.
funny. Shout out Eric and Gina.
Yep. Shout out
Great
Boops and
people.
Boops.
Great people. Love them.
Just like Ducky and
Dougie, yes.
So you had obviously the great run in Hermosa. Did that shift your perspective at all on what you wanted out of volleyball, or was it still relatively the same, but now you kind of realized how freaking good you could play?
I think it was, like I said, I didn't feel like I played any different. And that's how I kind of felt like the first couple tournaments, like just a slight sense of frustration. Like, it's like, oh, like I feel like I'm right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it literally quite was just like an opportunity away of like being able to like compete with some of these like good main draw teams. And so it didn't really shift my perspective. It kind of almost felt like validating, where I'm like, okay, like I'm not being delusional. Like
Right.
I am like right there. Cause I was also like, practicing against these teams that I want to be competing against. And it's like, like I'm beating some of these people at practice, like, and I know practice is different from competition, but it still felt like I'm like, like, am I crazy? Or is
Right.
it, like right there?
Yeah, it's always nice to have that validating finish,
Yeah.
because there are so many players who will be on the cusp for a long time, and then you finally see them break through, and they're like, "I'm not insane."
Yeah.
That's literally what it felt like.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm not insane. This wasn't an insane decision to like get back out
To
here.
get back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was spending a lot of time on it too. That was the other thing. It wasn't just like a half commitment. I'm practicing like 5 days a week and like back into like full-time lifting, and I got myself a trainer. Like,
Yeah.
so, when you like
that breakthrough.
invest the time, some money, you're like, you really want to see the results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got them.
And we got
And
some.
they kept coming.
We're getting on the board.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure your phone and DMs are probably blowing up after that. Like, hey, I need a partner. Hey, I need a partner.
Like maybe a little bit. Like I said, I got a couple more good opportunities after that. Got another injury sub for Atlanta.
For Betsi?
Yeah, with Betsi. That was a really fun
Yeah,
opportunity.
because she coached you at LMU, right?
Yeah. I mean, let's see. Yeah, especially during the COVID years when I had the most coaching for her when she was pregnant with Cora.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was probably super fun to
Yeah.
go.
That's
Because
so cool.
Betsy's such a cool coach.
She is.
She's also
Yeah.
just like one of the coolest people.
She really is. Yeah.
Yeah, just like getting to hang out with her at World Champs. I'm like, you're awesome.
Yeah. She really is.
Yeah.
Like, not only is she just like just a stud athlete, she's such a competitor, and like I feel like people don't, I don't know, Betsi off the court and Betsi on the court are like two
Betsy's
different
gnarly
people.
on the
She
court.
is
Yeah.
so like killer. Yes, that's like such a good word for it on the court. And it's just like so fun to like get to like see it up close.
Yeah.
And it's like no wonder like she's at such a high level and performs at such a high level. Like she is so just like killer. Yeah.
What was it like to play with her? Is that one of those scenarios? Because for me, if I were playing with someone, like a coach that I looked up to,
Yeah.
I'd have been like a little imposter syndrome type deal.
Yeah.
Or you guys just, did you understand that like you were peers?
No, I think it's really hard for me to like not like look up a little bit to her. Even when we are playing, I think once the game starts, it's a little bit easier. It's like, okay, we're like in this thing together.
Yeah.
But I think like leading up to like, I was definitely more nervous, I would say, or excited, whichever way you want to frame that, to play with her, just because it's like, this is someone I've like look up to and like try to base like how I want to be on. And, it's weird to play with your idols or
Right.
just people you look up to. It's totally different dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about her do you really like?
I don't even know. There's no way she remembered this, but like, so I remember like one of my very first practices, and she used to practice with us sometimes, and she was just like shredding us up with her serve per usual. But there was a ball that like hit the tape and trickled, and I kind of just went like, like didn't go for it or whatever. And she was just like, what if that happened on match point? Like the most like serious, intense look at me. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and at this point, like I'm like so new to the beach, I'm not taking it very seriously. But in that moment, I realized I'm like, this is someone who like treats everything with like such a high degree of like professionalism and seriousness. But like that's how you need to be. You need to treat every rep at practice like like you never know, that could happen on match point.
Yeah. That's super cool.
So
And it's totally unsurprising.
Yeah.
right,
Betsy
yeah,
would say.
yeah,
Because when you watch her play, every point is match point.
yeah. So I don't know. It's cool. It's one thing to be coached by it, but it's cool to play with someone
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah. And I'm sure that all these experiences were such good learning experiences, especially when you got to play with a Betsi or a Stockman.
Yeah.
Where like you have two veterans. And Stockman, I mean, she's had to have played in more countries than like any
Yeah.
American currently
Yeah, her
playing.
international experiences.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I know obviously you learned a lot in your business analytics masters, but you probably were on like learning hyperdrive in terms of, you probably got your masters in beach volleyball this year.
No, it's super cool to play. I think that was like, again, Betsi and I wish we had a longer run, or I wish we had more practice, because we didn't even get a practice before we played because the weather was so bad when we flew into Atlanta. And so that's another one. I'm like, dang, if we just had, that's what we felt like when
Yeah.
we like were out. We're like, oh, if we just had like one practice.
One serve.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one serving miss, like anything. You know, we like wanted more because it felt like, again, it's like right there.
Yeah.
But when you play with so many different people, it's like, that's what was fun about this year is you don't have that many practices. So it's literally, you just have to make the most of it. And like try to just focus on what you can control. Like a lot of it is like, you just got to deal with a lot of like imperfection and stuff. Cause unfortunately, like that's the thing. If you only have one practice, you're going to be talking about the set shape in the middle of a match, which is not usually something you want to talk about. But I think it was good, like mental training for me to like deal with a lot of like things I can't control, a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
And like a lot of, I think it can be distracting, like I said, to be like in like such an intense match. And you're like, by the way, was that set high enough?
Anyway.
I think that it's, I don't know if I would recommend it for everyone, but I think that's such a valuable experience to have in a rookie or first 2 years is to play with 6 or 7 or 8 different people, because then you learn how to deal with every personality.
Yeah.
You learn how to set every different ball, play with so many different types of players, and then when your sophomore, junior, professional years come around, like you have it dialed of who you play best with, like what kind of partner is best for you. Because I look at Haley Harward, and I think she played with 9 people last year, and she was like, I know who I want to play with.
Yeah.
And then she had a great year to the point that she got picked up with Alex. And I feel like you're probably on a similar wavelength where, like, what's the ideal partner and personality for you? Because you've developed team chemistry with a lot of different people.
Yeah, it's true. You definitely get to figure out, it's literally like dating.
Yeah.
You figure out like what you like, what you don't like, what maybe is an ultimatum for you, like, or what's like, oh, like this is my favorite, but like I'm okay, I can deal with this.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I mean, everyone I played with this year was lovely. Like all good people, all great players. Like it like just comes down to like little things. I think for me, just it's always a big one that whoever I play with is like just a grinder. Like I think that's when I have my most fun, or I like playing with someone where I can like look at them. There's never a moment of like checking out. It's always like, it's almost the look back is like, I'm not counting this out.
Yeah.
Like, it, you know what I mean? It's like, we're down by 7 points and it's like, whatever.
It's fine.
Yeah. Like that for me is like, that's what fires me up. That's what I love, like to play with. 'Cause I feel like I've played so many matches this year where it's like, you want to be with someone who's with you until the end of the match, because that's the only way you win those.
And that's also, I think, one of the only ways that you can lose and take solace in knowing that you left everything.
100%.
Whereas if you turn around and your partner was just sort of not going for the trickle serve, for example, or not going for the high line that was kind of a shitty high line, but they just didn't go for it, that's like the one thing that I lose it. I'm like, well, what if we would have tried just a little bit harder?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it sounds so basic, but like effort.
It's everything.
It's everything. It really is.
100%.
Because it's like at the end of the day, if you're playing the kind of ball where it's like, I know if I like bust my ass to like get this like ball that's shanked off the court, I know my partner is right behind me to get that second, like third touch over the net. You know what I mean? But it's like, if you don't have that foundation, like you're not making those plays.
No.
Right.
And those plays, I'm like, this is such, like these games come down to such small amounts of points.
Yeah.
That like you have to, if you want to like continue to win.
Mm-hmm. And the margins are too small.
Way too small. And like, especially for me right now, like I'm still learning. I still make boneheaded errors. Like I need those points to make up for it. Like, you know, like, like, you know, maybe I'll miss a point here or there on something dumb, but I'll get the hustle play.
Yeah. And the boneheaded errors, like those will get, it's not a lack of effort.
They'll work themselves out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I remember watching you the first time I watched you play at LMU. You were at USC,
Okay.
I think, and you hit this ball so hard. I'd never seen a college girl hit a ball that hard, and you missed it by like that much, and I was like, John, who's this chick? He's like, that's Megan Rice. She came from the indoor team. I was like, when those swings start landing 3 inches inbounds, it's going to be a really good player.
I mean, that was my bailout for like, the first 2. Actually, I think it's still my bailout.
Still is. I was waiting to hear
I
when
just
you
had
said
a
it, like,
moment. No, it still is.
It's a good bailout when you can hit harder than most
hammer.
guys.
Go out swinging.
there was some points in Hermosa, and there's video footage of it where there's just some sort of long rally transition play. There's just one ball. It was like an on-2 ball. I hit it, and instead of saying nobody, I yell hammer because I don't want there to be any other hit than just a frickin' rip, because she can do it. I'm like, if she just swings, we're gonna get the point. And I'm yelling hammer. It was never nobody or one or line. It was just hammer. I was like, it was so funny.
I don't care where, just hit it hard.
I think Megan shot the ball like twice when we played in Hermosa.
Yeah, that's
like,
probably
literally
accurate.
I mean, I got served a lot, but she was, because every time she got served, she just was ripping balls.
Yeah.
And they were in, and they were good, and it was like, why would we serve her? Because she's unstoppable. My dad was like, just tell Megan to keep hitting. Just tell her to keep hitting. I'm like, perfect. She's doing it. She wants to do it anyway, so just keep ripping.
I'm trying to get some shots in there occasionally now.
But you and Taylor Sander, I think, are kind of similar in that Taylor doesn't need very good shots. No. Because everyone is so dug in and waiting to get hit, where like if you just throw in 2 or 3 change-ups,
exactly,
that's everything.
Yeah.
You could hit like kind of a crappy high line and it's still going to go down because the defender's like, oh,
so dug in. When she hits it like hard and deep too, so you're like, watch my face, because sometimes they come like at your chest, at your face, which is probably the best swing in the whole. It's the best
deep
swing
spatch.
in
It's
the game.
indefensible.
It's indoor.
Indoor deep spatch in the corner. Yeah.
That's what Sander had the funniest story. Because have you guys ever done a practice with Evie Matthews?
Yeah.
I love practices with Evie because I'm more of a shooty type player. Like I don't have the arm of you or Sander. So he does his shot progressions like 12 high lines, 12 cut shots, 12 jumbos. They get into Hermosa, and Evie's like, Sander, no shots, only high. No shots. Sander's like, what happened to practice, Ed?
It's like, we're trying to win here.
I was like, forget practice. We don't need shots.
You know what's funny? When I first started, I was like so hard on myself that I like could not hit shots. But then I started to realize, I'm like, wait, but no one can hit hard. So like, why am I beating myself up like so much for the one thing I can do that like a lot of people can't, instead of just being like, okay, like this part of my game's going to develop just like with anything else. But like, at least I have something that's, like I said, a good bailout when you need it. Because sometimes the shots just aren't feeling good.
Yeah.
When they are, it's great. But sometimes, like, it's just nice to know you can just
a high deep swing travels everywhere you go. Yeah. Shots, like the hand contact might not be there. It might be windy or whatever. But high deep swings.
Yeah. It's way easier to learn to add a line shot or a cut shot than it is to be strong enough to just rip away at any time. Like, it's way easier to develop that. So you're in good shape. You're in good shape.
Have you always had that power and athletic ability?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've always done I don't know. Just naturally, I use my core to hit. I always have.
Yeah.
So luckily that's translated well for me, like coming to beach. But funny enough, like coming to the beach from indoor, like was like the first time I ever like my shoulder ever hurt ever, because I think in indoor like the ball doesn't move, it's always in the window, but beach sometimes things get a little funky and you're hitting like really weird angles outside your body,
and you're trying to like do weird stuff like crazy wrist away.
So I'm trying to like get better from those like points of view, or just like I said, like I think the other piece I'm trying to add to my game is not necessarily swinging less, but maybe like taking a little off and just hitting better locations.
Yeah, it's just more like Jordan Chang calls them darts, like 70% just sort of snaps into
away
spots.
Out of the way the defender.
Yeah, because I also think there's a lot of players who, like, if they are expecting like the like heaters, like you and like Zana do a really good job actually of digging those, but for those defenders, I find the swings that actually end up being way more effective scoring wise, it's just like 80%, but just like 3 feet away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're so dug in. Because we played libero for however long, and so those hard-driven swings right at us were like perfect. Yeah. Great. anything away from us when we're that dug in is like, God, it's just frustrating. So, yeah.
That's what I think Kelly Chang is the best example of that, where she has the big power, but she only breaks it out maybe every 5 attacks, where other than that, she's just like, and she like sort of keeps her hand at the top, where she like snap it, and she won't even bother following through because it's still getting there with like 70% of her power.
Yeah.
Right. Or like, it's one of those things where, and I probably said this a million times when we were playing Hermosa, where it's like, when I do get blocked, it's just like, why am I doing that? Because if I just keep it like higher, like there's no reason I should get blocked with like the height that I hit from. So now it's about like, okay, like again, when it's there and it's fun, like go for it. But it's like, if there's a good block up, like just take 20% off.
Yeah.
Hit it with a little more space.
Yeah.
It's not, no one's touching it if I can do those things. So it's like, you know, you're kind of your own worst enemy sometimes with that kind of stuff, where it's really fun to hit the ball hard, but when you have a good block on the other side, you gotta be a little smarter. A
little more mindful.
Yeah, a little more mindful.
Yeah. I'm curious if the expectations you had for yourself rose after Hermosa, or because you mentioned that like you knew you had it in you, you're just waiting to have the result to prove it. But after that, I feel like for a lot of people, winning a tournament or getting second, now you can think, oh, I should just do this every time. And now a ninth in a gold series might not be good enough.
No, I don't know. I don't feel like, like I have a perfect example. Like, so Brooke and I played Manhattan together and we got a 7th. That was the hardest earned 7th like I can possibly imagine.
You played a lot of matches.
Every single match went to 3 sets. Our losses came from Stockman and Meg. I've never seen them play better. They literally were just like their serving was so good. They were setting out so well. I just never feel like we were able to get like a handle like on the match. And then the next day we played Gina and Pavin in another just like grueling 3rd setter. After that we played the team that like took Betsi and Julia out first round.
Okay.
And another gnarly 3rd setter. And then the just top off the day, then we had to play Betsi and Julia. And another gnarly 3rd setter who they had like 2 buys that day, or like only played
double forfeit,
a partial match.
Yeah.
So like I remember like, you know, we just had played 6 like long sets of volleyball. And Brooke and I are like, why do they look so fresh? You know, like we hadn't been paying attention really to like what was really happening, because we were just like so focused on our court. But, you know, we like lose that match. They end up going to win or whatever. And man, we felt so good about that 7th. We were like, you know what? Like we beat some really good teams. We like had a real chance of beating the team that like ended up winning, like, and again with like not much practice. So it's like how are you gonna say that like that 7th is like not a good finish?
Yeah.
When you look at like the individual matches played.
Yeah. And Brookie's so great too.
She's so good.
So sweet.
She's so nice. She's so good.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Such a competitor.
Delaney coached her, I think, all 4 years at Pepperdine. And I remember watching her when she was a freshman. I was like, she is really good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see she's healthy again with her back and everything.
Yeah. I didn't even know she had back problems.
Yep. And that's how good she was this year. And you guys had that second Laguna just to top it all off.
Yeah. We had, I think, like 2 practices. Obviously, like, Manhattan felt really good. It just felt like, you know, things didn't have to be perfect. We were just going to, like, compete until the last point. Yeah, and, you know, it's just one of those things where, again, it's like a little bit more practice. Like, that second could easily be a first. Like, that's how it feels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know what? Like, we battled that day. We played 6 sets before we saw Corinne and Sarah in the finals, and we were both so gassed by the time it got to that point.
How many matches did you play to get? Because that's just 2-day tournament, right? Saturday,
yeah,
Sunday?
just a 2-day. Let's see. So we won our first.
What was even the format?
It was modified pool
modified
play.
pool.
Okay, I don't know anything about Laguna.
So it
I was,
really
like, so
wasn't,
entrenched in
I guess,
World
that
Champs.
many matches.
There's 6. You guys
Was it
lost your second game in pool and had to play
Yeah.
a game to get into the quarters on Sunday, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, the first day of the tournament there wasn't that bad in terms of like exhaustion. I think it was just like the second day. It was really hot actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was warm. Yeah.
I also got a little bit sick in between our semis and finals. I don't know why.
Tough.
Yeah.
A lot of sick.
Yeah. But it was fine. We rallied.
Well, that's what
Literal.
world champs. Everyone was rallying.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Tough food trip for everyone in Mexico.
Yeah.
Man,
Shoot.
it was just the rally weekend.
Apparently, I was like, in honor of world champs, I'm gonna go throw up my bagel in between.
Way to keep with the theme.
I'm a puking rally just in honor of everyone else at World Champs doing it.
Yeah, my only thought was like that I didn't feel like I was dehydrated, like, because my first thought, I'm like, heat stroke? Like, nah, like, it's one, not hot enough.
That hot,
Two,
yeah.
like, I don't know. I think I just like drank too much water, and then I like tried to force myself to eat when I guess my body wasn't ready,
Yeah.
and just came right back.
I cannot eat during tournaments.
So
I'll
hard.
crush
It's
like
hard.
a full bag of
It's hard if you don't have
almonds
enough
and that's it.
time. That was
Yeah.
the thing. I was like, I only have one like match, and then I have to play like immediately, and I just probably burned like 4,000 calories, like, because we won like in 2018.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like such a long match.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I have to eat right now. I'm just like force myself, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I think I'm gonna throw up. And yeah,
And you did.
And I did.
Puke and rally.
You can rally. Well, almost not quite a successful rally. So close, but not
So
not
close.
not
Well, that's
quite.
what Julia was puking in
Oh,
her
God.
box when she won in Fort Lauderdale.
That was heat stroke.
Yeah. Tina
Yeah.
had the funniest quote about that. She goes, "You never want to play the person that just puked. They just come out and they rally so hard."
So,
I didn't have as much
have the Julia
miraculous recovery as Julia did, apparently.
Still second. Heck of a finish.
I hit way less balls in the final than my normal MO. That's no one regret. I'm like, dang it. I should have just like, even if I hit everything out.
Yeah. Was that your first Laguna Open?
That was my first Laguna.
It's a cool event.
It was so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It might have been one of my favorite events this year.
That's one of my favorites because it's so old school.
Yeah.
Like there's no stadium.
Yeah.
Fans are really intimate. The crowd's into it.
Yeah,
It's just really tight.
it's great.
Everything's
Yeah.
real close.
I agree.
Yeah. Did you play Laguna? Okay.
Didn't qualify.
I'm so
Back in the qualifier.
okay.
Didn't qualify.
Yeah, I'm so out of the loop of anything that happened in Laguna.
Yeah. I played with a young girl from San Diego, and we had to play Lindsay Sparks. Tough draw in the qualifier.
She's back?
She's back.
Oh, that's awesome.
She was
played
looking
phenomenal.
so good.
That's great.
Played phenomenal.
I didn't know
I'm like, that's a shitty draw. Qualifier.
shitty, but also so cool that Lindsay's
So
playing.
fun. I literally cried when she beat me. I was like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I was like, I'm so bummed we lost, but like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. We could have
How
her
mad
on the
can I get?
podcast then.
Oh, yeah.
Because
You do.
she was like
Should.
almost done playing forever, right?
She she was on the team for a couple years.
Yeah.
And she's back and feeling great. So
That's awesome.
that'd be a good one to have on. She's she's just so awesome.
miraculous recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there's a palatable loss, I think that's probably one of them.
Fair. I just thought I was like cheerleader spectator,
Yeah.
which is like
I would have been
weird,
happy to lose to her.
which was weird, but it was like kind of nice to just kind of hang out. I'm like, if I'm losing to anyone, Lindsay,
This
fair enough.
sandbagger.
Like fair enough. Her and Meg played really well too. So Meg and Gebhardt. So yeah, shout out them. They
Yeah.
played great.
What's the rest of your year look like? Are you shutting it down, or are you going to try to do any of these late challenges, futures?
We'll see. I'm trying to debate, like, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's one of those things where it's like, do I try to just play in as much as I can and get points and experience? Do I try to save money until I figure out like solid partner situation and then really go bet on ourselves? Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning towards that route. Also because I feel like every single year I play, I feel like I'm just exponentially better. And, our women's side is just so good. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you're not one of the top 3 teams in the world, like, good luck.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where if I'm really thinking long term, like, I need to put in the work to like get to that level. So it's like I rather put in my time and resources here, training as much as possible, and then like hopefully someday in the future I will feel like, okay, like I can go bet on myself and know it's like the best version of me that I'm putting out there.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a good move. I don't envy any of the American women. My goodness. Like, I look at Betsi and Julia, like, you guys are tied for 10th in the world in the Olympic rankings, and you're like 3,000 points back from where you need to be. It's crazy how good the American women are.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, that's the route I'm kind of leaning towards, but I might play in like a couple, like, we're thinking about playing like a Norseka.
Norseka qualifier.
Yeah.
It's coming up November 10th.
Yeah, maybe qualify for the finals, get some bonus Norseka points, because Norseka is phenomenal with that kind of stuff, just points and stuff.
Especially the finals. That's because those are challenger points.
Yeah, well, I was gonna call my season. I mean, I did. I'm not going to any challengers, and then Sean sent that email. I'm like, I got to do that one. Like, it's you can't pass up a Norseka. I mean, Norsekas are just unreal. They're so fun. Yeah. You get this. You get stipend. You get hotel. They give you food. Not sure if you should eat it every time, but they give you food. And then for this one, if you if you do it, it's better points. So it's like,
and the qualifiers here.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I wasn't really planning on putting anything on my calendar, and then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, a Norseka adventure is a must. I'm sure Troy's probably told you some fun stories from Norsekas.
Yeah. Oh, and then actually the only other thing tournament-wise that I'm playing in, Troy and I, after the 4-man, this coming Saturday, we're going to go to Japan for a week and play in one of their, like,
sick. One of the domestic ones?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is he playing with Koichi?
Yep.
Awesome.
God, Troy loves Japan. He just loves
So
that Japanese tour is great.
Yeah.
The money's awesome, and the people are so nice.
Yeah. I actually really wanted to go last time he went, but it was like right at the beginning of preseason, like literally the first tournament was going to start like right when we got back, and I'm like, I'm already like out of shape and like working really hard to like get into like, playing seriously again. And if I take 3 weeks off right now, I have no chance of playing well in the first event.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it at the time, but timing's always right. Yeah. So let's do it this time around.
You're playing in Japan?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you bringing? Or are you playing with someone from Japan?
It's someone that let me look up her name. I don't want to like say it wrong.
Yeah. Because we had because the Japanese Federation will always train. They'll send a couple teams here, and then they were like, "Here's our schedule, and here's the prize money." I was like, "Is this right?"
I'm probably gonna say this wrong.
Whoa!
It's Saya Naguchi. How would you say that? It's the top.
Yep, exactly how you said it.
I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
Well, when you come back, then you can confirm whether you said it right.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
When is that? Really nice. We leave Sunday.
So fun.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's coming up.
Yeah.
Have you played internationally before?
No, not really. I don't think so. I'm trying to remember.
Would you guys take any like LMU? Did you guys go overseas at all to play in exhibitions? No. I feel like USC always does that.
UCLA does it.
Yeah.
I don't know how LMU wouldn't. The tuition there is crazy.
But for some reason, our programs don't really have the funds.
Yeah.
I mean, we also just spent a ton of money on courts.
Yeah. You just need a football team.
That's the big problem. That right there, that is the problem. Yeah.
Need a football team to trickle something down.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Meg, thanks for coming on and hanging out.
Yeah.
It's been super nice just getting to chat and know your story a little bit. I mean, I've seen you like beat the crap out of balls for a while. I was like, I wonder how'd you got this good. But you're going to be the VolleyballMag Rookie of the Year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So congratulations.
Wow. Thanks, guys.
And I don't even know who else would really be that close.
So
because like you had some really good finishes.
Who else is new this year?
I mean, I feel like there were a lot of decent rookies, but no one who was like grabbing seconds and then 9ths and 7ths in Gold Series. So pretty solid. Because when I was going through the list of players, like it's Meg and then a pretty big drop off.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Where can our millions and millions of listeners and viewers follow you and keep up with you on wherever you're going?
Billion.
You can follow me on Instagram at Megan J. Rice.
So Cameron Irwin was calling you MJ on the, and I didn't know, is that some of the people have called you, or is that just because there's 2 Megan Rices?
I think they're just trying to like differentiate
Just separate.
me. I like it though. MJ's kind of cool.
MJ's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So MJ might be what we have to call you from here on out.
Yeah. It's MJ Rice from here on out.
Because I just called the other Megan Rice, Megan Arroz.
Yeah, that's her Instagram name.
That's her Instagram, and I was like, this
my
is
gosh,
perfect.
I know. That's caused so many problems. Actually, it was when that Megan Rice, she got a second in Hermosa. When was that?
Yeah, with Katie Hogan, that would have been 2018.
Yeah.
Because that was
My
when Zana
phone
and Chrissy made.
Blew up that weekend. So
Oh,
that was the
that's so
first
funny.
year that I was like just starting to play.
Yeah.
And I remember getting texted like, oh my gosh, this is your like first year playing beach and you got a second in Hermosa. Like, you're unreal.
Do you just own it?
No,
Damn right I did.
I was like, so believe it or not. But
It's really funny.
yeah.
How many times did you play the other Megan Rice? Just the once?
I think just once. I think I've only played her
Player in
once.
Laguna?
No,
Then it would have been just once, yeah.
I think only in
All right.
Hermosa.
So right now you have the title of the real Megan Rice.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just your head-to-head record. That's who gets the real Megan
Let's
Rice.
go. buddy.
MJ Rice.
We do love the other Megan Rice, though. She's
We
awesome.
do.
She's a sweetheart.
She's so awesome.
And a great player too.
Yeah.
She is. I know, just one tournament. One
Got it.
tournament. We
Yeah,
have
you got to
to
make
play
that
together.
happen for sure.
Before one of us changes our last names or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll have to happen for sure.
Yeah. Megan, it's time.
It's time.
Come on, Meg.
Fire up.
All right, MJ, Megan J. Rice, not Megan Rose. Great to have you on.
Thank you guys.
Love you,
It was
Ducky.
so fun. Ducky.
Shoots.